So welcome. We're going to talk about harnessing the power of energy psychology today to help you manage anxiety. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what is energy psychology? Energy psychology focuses on the relationship between thoughts, emotions, sensations, and behavior with the body's known energy centers, right? Those energy centers include chakras, meridians, and the biofield. Anxiety is a pretty common reaction to physical, emotional, or chemical stress. Anxiety can be beneficial to signal danger or even to motivate, but too much anxiety causes you to feel paralyzed, and it can be all-consuming. Symptoms of anxiety include excessive worry, intrusive thoughts, fatigue, sleep disruptions, changes in behavior or mood, difficulty concentrating, and physical sensations that range from heart palpitations and pressure to avoidance, sweating, trembling, and even gastrointestinal distress. Anxiety can make it feel difficult to sit in your own skin. A few simple tips to help you manage anxiety on a regular basis. Avoid excessive news or social media, right? Make sure that you connect with people that you love. Take plenty of time to enjoy nature. Practice mindfulness, meditation, and yoga. Read, journal, take long baths. Pay special attention to self-care. So I think that there's a lot of value in being able to vent and just like let off steam about everything that's going on. So I want you to take a couple of minutes, pause this video if you have to, and think about the things in your life that cause you stress, the things that make you feel anxious, things that you're worried about or disappointed about. Take a couple of minutes and write those things down now. By mindfully observing your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, you can begin to identify anxiety and use the following energy techniques to regain a sense of calm and control. First, we're going to try some controlled breathing. So what I want you to do is pull up one of those memories that you were just writing down, right? I want you to notice whatever it is. Feel what your body feels like when you think about it. Whatever that stressful thing is, you've got a physical sensation that goes along with it, right? Nothing is just a thought. It's also connection to a feeling in your body. So I want you to focus in on that. Do a little kind of like emotional CAT scan, right? Scan your body. Notice any areas of pain, pressure, tightness, any areas of disagreement, right? And we're going to do some controlled breathing, all right? So we are going to breathe in to the count of 4, hold it to the count of 5, and exhale to the count of 6, all right? Try it with me now. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now again, scan your body. Notice if there is any changes. You can pause this as many times as you like to practice the controlled breathing. So the next thing we're going to try is something called the thymus thump. And again, what I want you to do is get in your mind one of the things that's on your list. And again, rate your body. Go ahead and do a little scan and see what your body feels like. Notice any place that the tension is hiding. Maybe it's hiding in your shoulders or your neck. Maybe it's a tightness in your throat or your chest. Go ahead and notice that right now. Now hold that thought in your mind, and we're going to do the thymus thump, which is just tapping on the center of your chest while you slowly inhale and exhale. Breathe into your belly and exhale slowly. Very good. The next thing we're going to try is called the butterfly hug. So you're going to put your arms around you and you're just going to tap, alternating each arm. And again, you can kind of gently hold in your mind one of the annoying things on your list. So anything that causes you anxiety or stress, just go ahead and calm your nervous system down with a butterfly hug. The next thing we're going to talk about is called unwinding frontal occipital holding, right? Long name for a really small thing. So what I want you to do is put one hand on the front of your head and one hand on the back of your head. And we're going to hold this pose for 2 to 5 minutes. What you're doing is gently controlling the energies in the front part of your brain and the back of your brain. This is awesome for racing thoughts or insomnia. It's really good for helping you to dump short-term memory into long-term. If you've been studying for too long and you just need a break, this will kind of calm all your thoughts down. And in 2 to 5 minutes, you'll just feel the volume on your thoughts get turned down. So take a couple of minutes and do this now. You can go ahead and pause this to do that. And the next thing I want to talk to you about is EFT, or tapping. What we do is gently tap on the end points of meridians or acupressure points to help you calm the central nervous system and reduce the physiological symptoms of stress. We're going to start with our hand on the karate chop point, which is right here. And you're going to always start your tapping with a statement of the problem and an affirmation about yourself. So what does that mean, a statement of the problem and an affirmation? Well, in this case, we're working on anxiety, right? So I want you to get really specific about your anxiety, and you're going to say something like, even if I have all this anxiety, or even if I have all this stress about money or my relationship or a big test coming up or anything else that you're worried about in your life, even if this condition exists, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So why do we say an affirmation? Well, we say it to separate the problem from your true self, right? And because you can't change a problem from the same position where the problem is created. You can't change a problem by hating on yourself. You can only change it by gentle attention to your personal needs and by focusing your energy on trying to make changes. All right, so we're going to start with that. We're going to start with the karate chop point, and you're going to say, even if I have all this anxiety about the state of the world right now, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So in spite of all this stress that I feel right now about what's going on in the world, I love myself unconditionally. Good. Now you're going to go to the top of your head, your eyebrows and the bridge of your nose, the outside corners of your eyes, underneath your eyes, underneath your nose, your chin, underneath your collarbones. Rub the sore spot on the chest wall, under your arms, under your ribs, and rub your fingernails together. Now I want to teach you something called the 9 gamut. So I want you to hold that mental picture that's the worst part of this problem for you. Tap on the top of your hand between your ring finger and pinky. Close your eyes, think about the problem, open your eyes. Look down hard to one side, look down to the other side, and roll your eyes around smoothly in a circle a couple of times, and then in the opposite direction. And now count to 100 by 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, and sing a little song. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Good. Go back and do all your points again. So just noticing whatever else comes up during this tapping session about your anxiety. So just notice this anxiety I have. I feel so stressed out right now. I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. I feel so afraid. I feel so alone. I'm afraid things might never get back to normal. Sometimes I don't know how to cope with my emotions. I know that I'm strong and I know that I can cope. Maybe I can just calm my body into a state that allows me to be able to cope with my stress. I choose to release this anxiety because it's not helping me. Good. When that's done, take a break. Let the energy settle. Notice what your body feels like. So what are we doing when we tap like that? Well, the tapping on acupressure points, we think, helps you to calm your central nervous system by releasing endorphins, right? Or chemicals that help to turn down the fight or flight process that you're in right now, right? So you've got lots of chemicals swirling around a feeling or an emotion, and you want to detach those. So we are turning down the chemical reaction and allowing your body to calm down. What you're doing with singing, counting, singing is engaging the left part of your brain and the right part of your brain and integrating that. And when we roll our eyes around in a circle a couple of times and change our eye direction, we're actually changing the way memory is encoded in the brain, right? So we're kind of allowing you to just kind of jumble that memory and think about things differently. So it looks like a weird process, but it's actually, there's a lot going on. So let's talk a little bit about phobias, right? Because phobias are really exaggerated anxieties, right? Or anxiety becomes exaggerated, sometimes because of phobias. Not all the time, but sometimes. We know that something is a phobia because it's extreme, it's exaggerated, and it's irrational, right? So it's not necessarily something that you think is true or something that you really believe, right? But it's some place that you can't help your mind but going. So it's kind of like saying, I'm afraid to fly, even though I know that flying is really safe, but I can't seem to bring myself to get on a plane, right? So phobias are different from fears, right? Fears are healthy. They keep us out of trouble. They keep us safe. And generally speaking, if we have a fear about something, we can usually override it. But if you have a phobia about something, it's very extreme and highly irrational to the point where you can't control it. And most people just give in to phobias and it blocks them from doing things that they want to do. So there are two kinds of phobias, fear and shame. Fear phobias, if you interview them out to their last possible decimal point, fear phobias always end in some sort of death, right? Death of someone else, death of people I love, never being accepted by my community, eternal damnation, being homeless and penniless and alone forever, right? People are afraid of flying, or people have phobias about flying and other kinds of phobias because ultimately they're afraid they're going to die, right? Even though their rational self knows that it's highly unlikely. The part of them that doesn't know that, the phobic part, keeps them from flying. Right? So that's how you know it's a fear phobia. It's exaggerated, it's extreme, and it's highly irrational. And it sort of ends in death in some way. Shame phobias are a little bit different because shame phobias, if you interview them out to their last possible decimal point, they end in character assassination, right? They end in your imagination of the worst thing that other people could say about you, right? You're a horrible person, you don't know what you're doing, you don't deserve your position in life or haven't worked hard enough for the things that you've achieved, that somehow you're a fraud or a fake or a phony or a loser. That's how shame phobias get you, right? So shame phobias keep you from participating fully in life, especially when it comes to other people and relationships. The physical component of an irrational fear or phobia is called a felt sense. A felt sense is an emotion that you feel in your body. So it's that tightness in your chest or the feeling in your stomach that you get, or sometimes a closing in your throat. Sometimes it's a dull headache or just tension in your shoulders. Any physical discomfort that you feel could be considered a felt sense, right? And so it's important to recognize that when you're working with the energy systems in your body, because you're really sort of tuning in and feeling the connection between your thoughts and the physical sensations that you have, because there is a connection. So in order to clear a phobia, what we want to do is name it exactly, locate the feeling in your body, and give it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. So I always ask my clients to give a SUDS rating, right? Subjective units of disturbance. For them, how disturbing is this thought, feeling, or emotion on a scale of 0 to 10, if 0 is no disturbance at all and 10 is the most disturbance they can imagine. So let's think about your anxiety for a second. What are you anxious about? In this case, some people have expressed extreme anxiety about money and financial situations, right? And so their anxiety has something to do with feeling like they won't be able to take care of their family, they'll lose their house, they'll go hungry, that somehow they won't be able to survive, right? And so if it were a phobia, it would sound something like, I'm afraid of losing my house, going hungry, not being able to provide for my family, and dying alone in the street with nobody taking care of us. That's a phobia. So whatever that phobia is for you, and these phobias can be kind of tricky to name, so when I'm working with people individually, we use muscle testing, but I'm going to ask you to use a felt sense. So I'm going to ask you to follow the feeling in your body and just kind of imagine what that phobia might be, right? So this anxiety that I have when I think about financial situations, I feel it in the pit of my stomach, right? And so I know that that's the location of it in my body. I can give that feeling a scale, a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. If 0 is no disturbance and 10 is the most disturbance I can imagine. And maybe when it comes to financial matters right now, maybe that rate's a 7 or an 8 or a 9 for you. So go ahead and locate the feeling in your body and give it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. And now start tapping on it. So even if I have all this anxiety about money and I feel it in my stomach and it's a 9, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. In spite of this fear phobia I have and all of the financial worries that I have right now, I deeply and completely love myself. So money is tight right now. I'm so afraid of what's going to happen. I have so much anxiety about money. I'm afraid I won't be able to support myself. I'm afraid I could lose my house. I'm afraid I won't have a job to come back to. I don't know how I'm going to pick up the pieces. I choose to release this phobia. I choose to relax and focus on my body and release this phobia, because that's all it is. This phobia is irrational and it's extreme, and even if it's got some basis in real life, I know that I'm going to be okay. So rub your fingernails together, top of your hand between your ring finger and pinky. Close your eyes, think about a snapshot that represents the worst part of that problem for you. Open your eyes, look down to one side and the other, and roll your eyes around in a circle a couple of times one way, and then a couple of times the other way. Sing a little song. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Count to 40 by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. Good. And do a little more singing. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Go back and do all your points again. Any points that feel tender or sore, you're going to linger on a little bit longer. Just feeling the unblocking of energy as you go through the tapping points. Allowing your body to relax and choosing to release this phobia. Breathing deeply. Good. Take a deep breath in, let the energy settle. Notice what your body feels like. Go back to that anxiety and again, rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. Notice if your subjective units of disturbance have changed. If it's come down, good, you're going in the right direction. If it hasn't come down, that's fine too, you're still going in the right direction. You're going to do more rounds of tapping until you take your SUDS rating to a 0 or a 1, right? Ideally, you want to be at 0. And that's how you do acupressure tapping. So that's a quick little lesson on how to use a few simple energy techniques to manage your anxiety when it's high or you just need to de-stress. You can tap regularly, like every day at specific times. You can tap on specific problems as they occur to you. You can also tap just in situations, right? If you are in the car and you're sitting in traffic and you just want to tap on a couple of eye points, go ahead and do that. It's going to keep you calmer, and the calmer that you are, the healthier you're going to be, because your immune system can actually be functioning and not tending to your body, which is in fight or flight, right? So you want to try to keep your body as calm as possible. Tend to your emotional state, and that will tend to your health and your immune system naturally. So I want to thank you for joining me, and feel free to check out my website and any other videos that I have on using energy psychology for healing. Thank you so much. Namaste.